Shares of Broadridge Financial Solutions trading near all-time highs. The $22 billion FinTech player provides tech and communication services, hosted its investor day today, expecting to see 7 to 9% recurring revenue growth over the next 3 years. Broadridge sits at the intersection of financial services, providing the technological infrastructure for everything from trading to debt servicing, deal making, regulatory compliance, shareholder communications. Joining us now is Broadridge Financial Solutions CEO Tim Gokey. Tim, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Morgan. Great to see you.
We just talked about the fact that you sit at this intersection for the sector. What does traffic look like across these different buckets more broadly? What are the trends that are emerging as we look to 2024 within the sector?
Yeah, thank you, Morgan. And we're really excited to have our investor day today. And some of the things we talked about are the democratization of investing. And that's really the number of investors and because of new products and lower cost trading, more people participating. The number of investors investing in U.S. stocks has gone from 49% to 59% over the past 10 years. Also, digitization of communications to really enable wealth managers to communicate more directly with their clients with less paper. And also the acceleration of trading we're seeing coming up in the next 6 months now. Trade settlement times moving from the trade date plus two, to the trade date plus one. That's a big industry change that a lot of people are working on, including ourselves, supporting our clients.
Okay. I do want to get your thoughts on what we're seeing ahead of the next proxy season. We have seen a pickup in activist investing this year. Perhaps the most high profile has been this proxy fight that's playing out at Disney with Trian and Nelson Peltz as well. How does this speak to what you're seeing within shareholder communications going into the proxy season, and whether it is that company specifically or others, what does that mean for Broadridge?
Yeah, it is. It's about that time when this begins to get geared up. There's a whole season of corporate governance that is upcoming. Some of the big questions are really, how many shareholder proposals will there be? A lot of debate around what has been the support for environmental, social government proposals. And then when we talk about the Disney situation, it's really a very interesting playing out in terms of a change has taken place. Last year was the first year, something called universal proxy, which allows an activist who wants to take on a management team to not nominate a complete replacement for the board of directors, but to nominate a subset and to put all that onto one ballot. And that is still playing out in terms of how that will affect really the balance of sort of power between activists and management teams. The Disney situation, is developing. We don't comment. We're really just we're the plumbing. There was the similar situation last year where it looked like there could be a contest, and then it was settled before there was a vote.
Okay, Tim. Is generative AI going to change trading? We already had algorithmic trading, but is there another wave to come? And if so, how are you preparing for it?
Yeah, well, we are doing a lot on AI. It is something that is certainly going to be embedded, I think, really in all products and certainly in all financial service products in the future. And then for those that have unique data, and we have a lot of data in our company, it's an even bigger opportunity. So I think it's one of those changes, and you've heard this from many people before, sort of like the internet, that where the impact of it is hard to know right now. I think we're already have launched products that help people ask complex questions that you could get the answers to traditionally by looking in different databases, but it uses the technology to actually write the queries, do them, return them quickly, so you can ask very complex questions and get them back in seconds. And that is really helping people with a lot of the analysis, pre-trade analysis. It's not doing automated trade or anything, but it can help people with the analysis to know what to trade in a much quicker way.
Okay. I do want to get your take on deal activity, because we're getting this sense that it's starting to pick up as we look to 2024. Is that what you're seeing within the company from your unique vantage point too?
Yeah, I think, there's been just a big disconnect between buyers and sellers and what they're willing to pay over the past couple of years. Also, there was just a lot of activity at the last market peak, and a lot of private equity firms sort of, really tried to transact at that time. So I think there's a sentiment that as interest rates stabilize, that there will be a bit of a pickup in the particularly in the M&A market. Maybe, people have been talking about it for a while. It still hasn't happened, but maybe sort of late spring in the summer, people are talking about that.